Hello everybody, this is your favourite creator who likes to pop in and out from time to time, Budgetman Gaming. And today, we're actually doing a PC spec review on the new on the new Doom, The Dark Ages. Yeah, so I kind of wanted to make this video for the people who have either A, janky systems, or B, old systems. So by old, I'm meaning early RTX, can't be GTX, unplayable, because unfortunately ray tracing is forced on this game. So you need an RTX card or an AMD RX, whatever. Okay, I'm using an NVIDIA RTX 4060. So let's get into the nitty gritty. These are the recommended settings for Doom the Dark Ages. Now I can guarantee you, this doesn't really mean jack shit. Because unfortunately nowadays, optimization is just out the window. But, there's a silver lining here. Is it actually runnable on these kind of requirements? Yes, it is. Is it a step back in Doom optimization? Yes, it is. Both Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal were both great games, and they were really well optimized for PC. When I first got Doom 2016, I was running on a potato PC, and I was able to get 60-70 frames. You know, around high settings, 1080p, no AI nonsense. Game looked fine. Doom Eternal ran even better. This game, it runs good, but you have to sacrifice. So my scope, I guess my goal for running this game has to be 1440p, and has to have no downgrade and scaling. Now what I mean by that is setting the scaling below 100% or 1 or whatever. So we'll go off and we'll tick off what we've got and what we don't have. So the player experience for minimum is 1080p 60 FPS at low video settings. I'm not sure where they get this statistic from, but we'll get into more of that once we get into some gameplay. Windows 10, 64-bit Windows 11, I have Windows 10, so we can tick that one off. AMD Zen 2 or an Intel 10th generation, 3.2 GHz with 8 cores, 16 threads or better. I have an Intel Core i7 6700K, and boy does it like to bottleneck my graphics card. So, unfortunately, we do not have a 10th generation CPU. An NVIDIA or AMD hardware ray tracing capable CPU with 8GB dedicated VRAM or better. I guess you can say mine's 7, but for the sake of argument, we'll go ahead and say we don't have that one. 16 gigs of RAM. It doesn't specify what kind of RAM. I'm guessing nowadays they'll be expecting either DDR4 or most likely DDR5. I'm actually 2 generations behind. I'm on DDR3, so I'll still give this a tick because it does not specify what type of RAM does it require. Now this was the interesting one. Storage capacity, 512GB or higher on an NVMe SSD. The game itself, well, on Xbox is about 70 gigs, 69 gigs. Download, I'm not entirely sure what that would be once it's unpacked. It'll probably be around 100 gig. It's recommended to at least have 100 gigabytes available. I'm using a 1TB Samsung Evo SSD. I think it's an 870, which is a SATA SSD. Still runs. Has no issues. See, it says that it's an NVMe SSD, but if you go on their website and if you go to a lot of these PC requirements, it actually says that a NVMe SSD is required. Not gonna lie, that made me shit my pants when I pre-ordered the game, and I'm like, oh fuck, am I even gonna be able to launch this thing? Yes. So, technically, no, because I don't have an NVMe SSD. Recommended 1440p 60 frames at high video settings. Again, I don't know where they get these statistics from because, well, like I said, you'll see. So we do have that, we don't have that, we don't have a 10GB VRAM or better card, we do have 32GB of DDR3, and we don't have that. Ultra 4K, well, we might as well throw most of this down the toilet, because we don't have that, and it's pretty much the same as was recommended. So across the board, realistically, this game is technically not runnable on my system. But it is. It runs actually, well, I wouldn't say it runs amazing, but it's playable. Reaching around 70, 80 frames, some cases we get about 100. Depends on the situation. Open world, like the sort of pseudo open world area, you'd find that the frame rate kind of tinks a bit around 60 to 70 range. But for the most part, it's stable. Haven't had any issues from that. I've noticed that people have been crashing. I've noticed that's actually more of a Steam issue, and same with the music. Music's cutting out, or music is just not there. I've been very lucky and have not copped any of those issues, and I've been having an amazing time playing this game, so we'll get into it. I'll show off the settings I'm using, and then we'll get into some gameplay. So I forgot to mention, do take away about 5 to 10 frames from the initial, from the actual experience due to recording. And also recording this game was a pain in the dick, so you'll notice in the recording there is some stuttering that is not present while actually playing, but just so you know. So as you can see, that the settings were running at full screen at 1440p with triple buffering vertical sync. I needed that to do the recording in the first place. We're using DLSS on quality with 2x frame gen. That's the only thing that 4060s can support. On medium settings, as you can see, I am 200 megabytes over the VRAM limit. I haven't had any issues with that. So those are the general settings I'm rocking with at the moment. I'll also go over to my difficulty settings, and you will see that I'm playing the game on Nightmare at 130% speed. There won't be any talking after this, because I want you to enjoy that glorious, glorious Doom. Enjoy the rest of the video, and I'll see you in a minute. was some good dooming. Did you listen to that soundtrack? I made sure, I forgot to show that up in the settings. Most things are turned down to about maybe 70 to 60%. Music cranked all the way up. Only complaint about this game is they've made the default for the music way too quiet. Turn that shit up and you'll be fucking loving it. That was great. That was amazing. The game runs fine. You could see that it dropped around 60 frames when it got really hectic there. Again, add on about 5 to 10 frames only because I was recording. Still perfectly playable, especially at those settings. I would not recommend turning down those settings if you are bottlenecking like I am, because what you want to do is you want your graphics card to work as hard as it can, so you kind of want to push it within reason, right? Obviously, frame generation is needed. Without it, you're looking at about 20 to 30 frames a second normally. I didn't even bother trying to see what it looks like during like heavy fighting. But if you were worried, maybe wanting to buy this game, wanting to pre-order it, check it out on Game Pass, that you have an older system, still ray tracing capable, doesn't have an NVMe SSD, you're good. Just stay within those settings. Another thing I will add is the game will tell you to download the new drivers. Most streamers I've watched who have downloaded those new drivers have had nothing but issues. Don't download it. Wait till they bring out a new one that's actually working. The one that you have right now, or the one that's at least before the Doom the Dark Ages patch, will work perfectly fine. It will prompt you saying, do you want to download this? And it'll give you two options of yes or play. Hit play. Do not download the new drivers. That's my contribution to society and the Doom community. You're welcome. But yes, thank you for watching the entirety of this video. I know it's been a long time since I've actually brought out a proper video. Please hit the like button, please subscribe, and if there's any other games you'd like me to test, let me know. Thank you.